Ciao, I'm Kimberly and I'm an artist. Thank you for joining me today for my live art show. I'm having a show today because I just finished a set of 4 paintings of the same magnificent fountain in Piazza Navona. It is called La Fontana dei Quattro Fiumi in Roma. Now, I decided one painting wasn't enough to show this magnificent fountain, so I decided to do 4. And it was quite the challenge because this piazza has so much going on, and then the fountain itself is so detailed. So Piazza Navona is a historic place. It was built on the foundations of Il Stadio di Domiziano, and that is the stadium of the Emperor Domitian, and that is why it is a long oval. In the stadium, they had athletic games and chariot races, and the piazza maintains that shape today. Also, there are 4 palazzi in the piazza, and palazzi means palaces. And for example, one of them is the Pamphili Palace. There's one at the far end that is now the Museo Nazionale di Roma, which is now an art museum. And there are 2 others there. It's hard to miss a palazzo when you're right there. Also, numerous cafes, which are excellent to just hang out and people watch. But I would like to tell you a little bit about the fountain now. So this fountain has an interesting story of itself. It was designed by Gian Lorenzo Bernini, and it's a very interesting story how he got this commission. The Pope was having an initiative to bring clean water to the people of Rome. So he was commissioning a lot of fountains to be placed around the city, supplied by an aqueduct called the Aqua Virgine. And this was to be one of the fountains. So he decided to have a competition of who would win the commission for this particular design. Gian Lorenzo Bernini, at the time, was not invited to participate in the contest. So what he did was design a 5-foot silver replica and had one of his friends leave it where the Pope would be walking by. He saw the fountain and he hired him on the spot. Later, the Pope was known to comment, the only way to not hire Bernini was to not see his work. But I love that story. Apparently, it was love at first sight. And, I can kind of identify with that because when I saw the fountain, I felt the same way. So, why is it in this location? Interestingly enough, Pope Innocenzo X, his family, the Pamphili family, have a palazzo right on this piazza. And so, if you're going to have a fountain right out front, you might as well pick the nicest one. And so that is why it's placed here. This fountain is known as La Fontana dei Quattro Fiumi, which means the fountain of the 4 rivers. So, why is that? Well, they wanted one river to represent every continent that they knew about at that time in history. So now I'd like to show you each painting. And so that is the 4 views I chose to do. One highlighting each river to honor the name of the fountain. So let me show you the first one. I always have to put my gloves on first. Can't touch the artwork with your bare hands because it is archival and asset free. All right, here's the first one, Il Gange. So Il Gange stands for the Ganges River representing Asia. come a little closer. This figure right here represents the Ganges River. You can see one of the cafes in the background. I love these shop windows. Look at the detail there. And then above that, the balconies with the flowers overlooking the piazza. Very typical of Piazza Navona. Let me back up a little bit here. Right here, you see the tail of a dolphin coming into the painting. And you can see a little more detail further up here. The roof line, the tile roof, and more here. A very interesting thing about this fountain is that there are several animals incorporated into it, both from land and sea. And so I will point out in the different angles when one is in the picture. The next one is Il Danubio. And let me bring this one a little closer so you can see the detail. So this figure right here stands for the Danube, and the figure back here in the distance, that one stands for El Rio de la Plata, which is the River of Silver. I love this little guy right here. This is a dolphin face peeking up from the water. And then you can see all the figures walking around the piazza. The Italians love to walk in the piazza. It's called fare una passeggiata, so taking a walk. There's cafes, street lights. And I should also mention that this water is painted with real turquoise on all four of them. I feel like it really captures the color of the water of these fountains. And let's see, up here in this corner, you can see the coat of arms of the Pope. And this is the base of that granite obelisk that the fountain is known for. The next one is El Rio de la Plata. Let me bring this one closer. There is a lot of detail in this one. There's a lot of detail in all of them, but I had such fun doing it. It really shows the personality of the place. So this figure right here is El Rio de la Plata, and it stands for the River of Silver in the Americas. Underneath him, you see a little alligator hanging out underneath the rocks. He's kind of cute, actually. And here in the arch, let me move this a little more. You can see the hindquarters of a lion. His face is actually on the other side of the fountain. And you can see a sea serpent right here. And up here is the coat of arms of the Pope, Innocenzo X. This building right here is also significant. It's La Chiesa di Sant'Agata in Agone, which was built by Borromini, a famous architect of the time. And again, in front of this grillwork fence, you can see people hanging out, enjoying the piazza. Oh, I wanted to tell you one other thing about this. Back up a little bit. See this arch in the middle of the fountain? That was considered a marvelous feat of engineering at the time because it's empty space and there is a huge obelisk right above it, supported by an elegant fountain. And people were really impressed how he did that because you would think something so massive, this is a really tall obelisk, weighs tons, how you could have empty space underneath it. So I'm impressed too. It's totally elegant and beautiful, and also great engineering. So let's take a look at the last one. This one is Il Nilo. Come closer so you can see the detail. This figure right here is Il Nilo, representing the Nile in Africa. Next to him, you see the coat of arms of the Pope and the base of that granite obelisk I was telling you about. The tail of a sea serpent, and also the hindquarters of that same lion. I also like what's going on with the cafes back here because that's so typical of Piazza Navona. It's ringed with cafes and people just, enjoying the day. And of course, the balconies with the greenery on it, also very typical of Rome. I love the balconies. You can see a little bit of the tile work in the piazza too, which is really amazing. It's never just plain. It's always pretty, even if it's the cobblestone. So that is my set of 4 paintings. I loved every minute of working on them. It took quite a long time. It took a month of locking myself in the studio and doing nothing but that, but it was totally awesome. And I wanted to share these with you today. I was very excited all week about this, so thank you so much for attending. And because you joined me today for the show, I have a special for you. These 4 paintings are 25% off for 3 days only. There are both the originals and the prints, and 25% off is like getting one of the set of 4 for free. So if you want to see more artwork like this, there is a link to my website. And also, if you want to see more artwork in progress, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. I would love to see you there. Thank you for all your comments and take care.